Hey guys, what's going on? This is your boy back with another episode of Flawless Fatherhood. Thanks for checking me out. As you can see, we have a Fatherless Crisis episode today titled, Who's at Fault? Who's at fault as far as this atmosphere of fatherlessness to where this country just doesn't care about the equality between mother and father and children. There's no doubt about it, okay? Zero doubt about it. But we're going to get into it. So again, I appreciate you guys for checking me out. I'm not going to hold you too long. Let's just jump into the content because I have a very powerful answer for you. And I'm ready to get into it. This is not by chance. This is not by chance, okay? I'm the type of person where I sat back and I've learned from my experiences. Like I spoke on before, and I'm always going to mention this so when people jump into the videos, they can understand where I'm coming from. As a person that I went through a divorce and I was able to be the primary residential parent for my two younger sons at the time in 2006. And then in 2016, I maintained a 50-50 week on, week off parenting plan with my ex, unwed, with my third son. Okay? Listen, guys, I'm not an attorney. I'm not your attorney. But what I do have is experience that attorneys don't have. These attorneys aren't sitting out here going through custody battles. They don't have a success rate post-divorce and unwed that I have. I'm giving it to you from a practical standpoint and how to look at it. And basically, I'm be honest with you, be hard pressed to find anybody that has been through and have the stripes that I have accomplished. That's why I feel as if I can give you this critical information, because that's what it should be considered, for you to be able to move forward and be able to manifest what you want to acquire as it pertains to timeshare with your children. Now, when I say manifest, that don't mean just sit there and pray on it, right? Because a lot of people just love to pray. I'm just going to put it in God's hands. That's what they say, right? Now, I'm not going to make this a religious show because this is not about religion at all. But we all know what they say about just faith. Faith without works is dead. You have to be proactive and get out there and doing something. You know, I know you guys love your children, but you need to show that you love them, not just say you love them. Let it show with your effort. This isn't just getting like this, okay? This isn't nothing new. These same situations that we are presented with, they're purposely put in place. Now, a lot of people focusing on the laws need to change. The laws need to change. We need to stick together. Listen, at the end of the day, the people that put the laws in place, those elite string pullers, the same ones that put these systems in play are the same ones that you're expecting are gonna change those laws? Absolutely not. Listen, gentlemen, this country was built off the backs of men. That's a fact. It wasn't built off the backs of women. They're not counting on women to do that. They'll count on women to spend and put money back into the economy, yes. But not to build it. That's why I'm not as much of an advocate of worrying about the laws getting changed. That's a weakness to me, just to sit back and wait on the laws and whine and complain about that. You know why? Because at the end of the day, what it's going to be is what it's going to be. And you can have the fruits of what you want in your situation if you put the energy into it. Listen, I am not special. Never been to college. No type of expertise in legal crap. It starts with the passion, first and foremost, as a foundation. And just connecting yourself with some information here and there, maybe a couple people, a couple platforms, and then you move forward to a thing. And using common sense. But at the end of the day, the laws aren't going to change. So we have to learn how to navigate and move around the laws. Them always talk about finessing the game. We have to be strategic in doing that. So having said all that, at the end of the day, the elites that put these things into place, they are very crafty. They're light years ahead of us as a people. Okay? They have these things planned probably decades in advance. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't overcome it. See, what nobody ever talks about the fathers that win in court or the mothers that get screwed over in court. No one talks about that. You know why? Because that's only what? 10, 15% or so, right? Not including extended family or something like that, grandparents, whatnot. 10, 15, maybe 20%. Nobody's talking about that because those people that are in that 15 to 20% that have a success rate as far as in family law, as a people, they never reach out and help other people. So the focus is only on the 80% that are getting screwed over. And that's why I started this program, this platform here, Flawless Fatherhood, so you can understand that, look, I know a good amount of people, men that just wasn't going to say no. And guess what? They raised their son up as the primary resident or sole custody over the mother. But you got to dig down deep. You got to want it. It's our job as men to go out and acquire and earn. Again, we shouldn't have to earn our time back, but unfortunately with this flawed system, we have to. It's not your fault, fathers. It's not your fault because the system is way too crafty and way too smart, way too conniving. They've taught us as men from the smallest of ages to not show your feelings, to not complain, to not cry. And I understand this to a degree. I get it. But they also program our minds, may it be television, movies, that women can just bark at you. Wives can tell you to go sleep on the couch. Wives can say, you need to get your stuff and get out of here. So after seeing that for years and years and years and years, you don't even know that, hey, if you hit adversity in your home, and if you're married and your name is on the paperwork on the house or the living area just like hers is, you don't have to leave. That's your space as well. But we're conditioned just to leave because, that's the right thing to do. No, it's the wrong thing to do. Because as soon as you walk your tail out of that house, they're going to freaking patch you up for abandonment. And that's the first thing. That's the first strike against you. Much less she claimed you freaking did something or she's afraid. Now she got a restraining order out on you. And that's another thing when it comes to these restraining orders. Guess what? If a woman put their hands on you, you need to call the police. No, it doesn't make you a coward. It makes you smart. It makes you make sure that you don't want to get finessed out of your time with your children in your life. Because let's say if you call the police on her a few times, once, 2, 3 times, she tries to file an injunction on you, because they will try that. Then they look into the system, type the name in there, and they're like, oh, well, hell, he's called the police on her several times already. No, we're not going to freaking accept that. And they'll throw it out They'll throw it out. I know some of you guys are listening to this, you have injunction on you. And I have gotten an injunction attempted to put on me by my youngest son's mom. Unwarranted, it got thrown out. You can't stop them from making an accusation, but you got to keep your face and hands clean. And actually, come to speak of that, I actually have an injunction that paperwork in which I'm actually going to put on the screen that when my divorce in 2006, proving that I had an injunction on my then wife at the time in our divorce proceedings. Because guess what? I'm not going to allow her to put her hands on me and there's no repercussion. See, now you got to think, I did that. I protected myself and somehow I didn't walk out of the house. I allowed her to leave. And guess what? I end up getting primary custody because I didn't cut my throat. I let her cut her own. Okay? So, guys, listen. I want to try to light a fire up on your ass because there's no reason why you should be sitting around and not going out and getting a custody order or actually establishing paternity, making sure you do that first, and then going for a custody order. I don't care if you got to get the kids every other weekend, if that's what the judge says. I don't care. But guess what? That's your time. You shouldn't be sitting back waiting on her to say, oh, well, I'll let you get the kid or kids this day. I'll let her get you stuff. No wonder she doesn't freaking respect you. Because you're sitting back letting her call the shots. At least if you get them a certain amount of time and you have that in the paperwork from the courthouse, these are your interrupted times. So if she defaults on them, now you can hold her in contempt. Now, guess what? A lot of times the contempt is going to just be contempt and she'll barely get slapped on the wrist, but who knows? If she messes up enough, that might be enough to move the needle. But you got to get there first. You got to get it on black and white. All right, guys, it's not your fault, but let me tell you something. It is your fault if you don't start being proactive. Be the father that your child wants you to be. Let that sink in. You got it in you. Manifest it. You're not listening to this video for nothing. See you on the next video. Flawless Fatherhood.